Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of Project Light, a series of videos that I'm doing where I'm going through all the kit and equipment that I'm taking on the Pacific Crest Trail in 2026 in an attempt to see if I can make things just that little bit lighter. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. It all helps the channel out. Now, let's get on with the video, shall we? In this episode, I'm going to be looking at my cook kit just to see if I can make it that little bit lighter. This is the cook kit here that I took with me on the TMB. I'll open it up and break it down so you can see what's in it. However, everything in here worked really well, but I think it can be just that little bit lighter with some swap outs and some additional stuff done to it. So let's have a look inside. So inside I have my Fire Maple 600 milliliter pot. It's also got the heat rings on the bottom, and it's got little slats here for a stove that can fit inside. The stove that I took with me didn't have the slats that could fit in here, so it just sat on top, but it still performed really well. Inside, got a little bag with a sponge in it. I've got a titanium windbreak inside. This is really good if the wind breaks up. Doesn't weigh a lot. Handy little bit of kit here. I also have my stove inside. This is another Fire Maple. It's a titanium stove. This is it here. Now, because I do a lot of hiking in Scotland, I wanted a stove that was much more low profile, so that's why I've went for this one. Even though it's titanium, still a little bit heavy, so we'll get into the weights after this. Also in its bag, I have a lighter for it as well. Also have a titanium spoon. I also have a Sea Summit mug as well for hot brews, teas, and I can also put porridge in here. So it's a good little buy this as well. Let's weigh everything and we'll find out exactly how much everything weighs. So the first thing we're going to do is weigh my entire cook kit complete and we'll see what it comes in at. So here's cook kit here. Let's stick it on the scales. So 389. However, we've still got the Sea Summit mug. Let's stick that on. And now we've got our titanium spork and its little cover. Let's get them on. So that is 485 grams. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it off and we'll weigh all the individual parts of my cook kit, and then we'll start working out if we can make things a bit lighter. Okay, I've now got all the individual parts broken down, so let's weigh everything and find out what everything weighs individually. So we'll start off with Pot Cozy. Let's have a look. Let's get the scale set up. Right, so the Pot Cozy comes in at 33 grams. Let's get this off. And next we're going to weigh the pot itself. So 166 grams. Let's take that off. Next we're going to weigh the stove. I'm going to weigh it with all its different parts, the bag, the lighter and the stove. Let's see how that gets on. So 171 grams for the stove. Let's get them all off. Next we've got our mug. Let's get that done. So this is the Sea Summit mug. It's coming in at 72 grams. Let's get that off and we'll do our spork and its bag. 23 grams. Let's take that off. And next we've got our windbreak, titanium windbreak in the bag. 16 kilograms. Let's get that off. Next we've got our sponge. Let's get that weighed. 3 grams. So for a cook kit, That's quite a little bit heavier than I would like. Now there's other alternatives out there. Now I know I'm using an aluminium pot. It's a brilliant pot though. Yes, there is titanium ones and I've been using this one for quite a number of years. However, I'm going to be cooking proper food when I'm on the PCT, and because titanium doesn't retain the heat, potentially if I'm doing noodles or pasta and stuff, if I'm not doing it properly, if I'm not keeping an eye on it, then it could burn and get stuck to the pot. So yes, these are great for boiling water, not so great for cooking food. However, it's not very fuel efficient compared to the fire maple pot, which has the heat rings on the bottom. This makes it a lot easier for cooking and it uses a lot less fuel when it's trying to heat the water up. So yes, it's a little bit heavier, but I'm happy to go with what I've got. So apart from the pot, one of the biggest things that increases the weight is my stove. Even though it's titanium, as you saw, it's a little bit heavier. So I love this stove. I think it's great, but I'm going to swap it out because I cannot physically make this lighter. Yes, I could bin the little bag. It's not going to reduce the weight by that much. This is quite bulky as well, so I had a look to see what else I can get. And what I found was the MSR Pocket Rocket 2. Half the size. A lot easier to pack down. Very fuel efficient, and there's a lot of good reviews on YouTube about this. Brilliant weight, as we're going to go through in a minute. So I think this is definitely the one that's going to go to the PCT. So this helps me, like my kit already, by replacing the stove. Another thing I'm going to replace is my Cita Summit mug. It's a decent size and it's not overly heavy, but I'm only going to be using it for things like cups of tea and stuff. So don't need it to be that big. Let's get rid of that bad boy. Now we've got another Cita Summit mug. So this is a lot smaller and a lot lighter. So this again is going to reduce the weight of my cook kit. Now because I'm using the MSR Pocket Rocket 2, it's not as low to the ground and I will not be needing my little titanium windbreak. It's just not big enough. So that's going to save me some weight as well. Let's get rid of that. So yes, I can't use my windbreak on this stove, but as I mentioned at the start of the video, this pot has got cutouts for a stove to fit on with 3 legs. And as you can see, the MSR Pocket Rocket fits on quite nicely. And if you look, there's not much of a gap left for any wind to get through. So it is quite close to the pot. Not as close as I would like, but it's better than nothing. So that should help with the wind problem. Also, with the heat rings around it as well, that should also help. I do have my rucksack and stuff to keep out of the wind if I need to, but I'm quite happy with the fact that this fits on really nice. It's going to work really quite well. I'm going to be keeping the lighter. We all should have lighters when we're out, especially if we're using cook kits, even if it's got a piezo igniter or not. The Pocket Rocket doesn't have a piezo igniter, so I need a lighter. I am taking this piezo igniter here. This is going to be my primary means of lighting my gas stove, and I've got my lighter as a backup. So we're going to go through this as well and just see if I can make this a little bit lighter as well. Sponge has to go. It's pretty small, as you can see. Let's get it out. So that's not going to get much smaller than it is. If it gets any smaller, it's not going to do its job, so that's going. My cozy, I'm going to keep. As I said, I found it really, really handy when I was on the TMB, and it's going to help save a lot of fuel, which is going to help me when it comes to resupplies, lasting longer when I'm out on the trail than having to go in, replace my gas all the time. So this weighs hardly nothing, so it's still going to go with me. What I'm going to do now is we'll put everything together, one complete set. We'll weigh it, find exactly how much it weighs, and then I'm going to look at all the new bits that I've got and see if I can make them just that little bit lighter. Okay, let's go through the new cook kit. So it's now sitting at 376 grams. That is a weight saving of 109 grams. Well, that's a start. Right, let's break everything down and we'll work out if there's any way I can make it just that little bit lighter. Right, let's go through it. So there's not much I can do with my pot cozy or my pot itself. The same with the lighter. The pocket rocket has already gave me a weight saving anyway, and I'm not taking its plastic case. So that's a weight saving straight off the bat. I haven't even bothered adding that because I was never intending of using the case with this. This will simply just get wrapped up and stay in my pot. So next up we have our Spork. There's not much we can do with that. We can't cut that in half. We can't make it any lighter than it is. I need the length for if I'm using rehydrated meals. But it has a little bag here. Don't really need that. That can live in my food bag. So let's weigh this and see what weight saving we're going to get if we don't take this. 7 grams. Well, it's better than nothing, isn't it? Right, the only other thing we've got is our piezo igniter. So let's weigh this. That's 17 grams. It does have this lanyard here, which I don't think I need. So let's get this off and we'll weigh the lanyard and see much weight saving I'm getting there. 2 grams, I'll take it. Right, let's see how well I did this time on Project Light. So I'll put the stats up here so you can see them all. So with a few changes out, so changing out my stove, getting rid of a few things, getting rid of these little useless bags, little lanyards, and swapping out, my stove has made a massive difference to my cook kit. It's made it that little bit lighter, and overall it's going to make my kit that much lighter at the end of Project Light. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something from it. Please like, share and subscribe, and we will see you on our next episode of Project Light.